KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're the Real Estate Rat Pack. Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Well, you know, Joe, if it's
Can you
not
do that in stereo, like rewind it,
yeah,
and then
rewind
I'll
that.
do it again with me?
Kind of put on.
That's not possible.
You know, Chris is not here today. He's off playing in Florida with his family.
Hooky man.
Yeah, he's not going to be here next week either.
I know.
But I've got a great replacement for next week. I've got the beautiful Samantha Merritt and the beautiful Jackie Bailey, along with our mayoral candidate, Bill King, will be
Yeah, I don't know
on.
how we're going to break it to Kelso, but negotiations are already underway. So.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, it's kind of a hands-down deal. So, anyway.
Yeah, Kelso, about showing up
Yeah,
3
you know,
weeks from now.
Your contract, you know, it's expired, and I know we're going month to month.
Have
and,
your agent give us a call.
Yeah,
We'll explain
yeah.
it.
Have your people call my people. We'll take care of that.
I
so.
shouldn't talk too much. I'm going to be gone next week.
Yes, and you know what?
I'm smart enough to only say...
You're kind of at jeopardy as well.
I'm smart enough to only stay gone 1 week. So Kelso
Anyway,
really messed up.
we
with
got
two.
we got to come to a packed house in here again.
We
today.
do.
We've got Jack and Jean Shabot with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Anderson Properties. So up first is we have Jack and Jean Shabot, and they're with my company, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Anderson Properties, and they're veterans in the business. So welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tell me how long you have been in business. You work together, and I believe your son works with you as well. No. Assistant, okay. And so tell me how long you've been. You worked at Westbury, Braeswood, Meyerland, and that area.
Maplewood, inside the Loop. Our office is located in Bel Air. I've been a realtor since 1979.
So,
and a broker since 1981.
Glutton for punishment.
Yes, well, that's
Absolutely.
believe it or not, that's exactly when I got my license. Was 1979. I was 12,
And I was 5.
Well played.
Well played. Well, we had some interesting stuff last week. We had of course all that water come in with epic event, and I actually talked to
Noah's been crashed at my house
yes,
for the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
So.
40 cubits by 50 cubit arc over there.
I got him working on the playhouse in the back right now.
Well, they've nothing else to do at this moment. But we were talking about all the water we had, and of course the areas that you worked the most was highly affected, and you actually had a rental house that you own that survived Allison, survived Ike, survived Alicia, but it didn't survive this. So kind of tell me what that event looked like and what the results were. And we're going to pick on insurance a little bit, Tim O'Neill. And I know you're not responsible. And I told them immediately when they walked in that you are not responsible.
Tim's making all the shots for all the insurance companies in town.
That's right.
Everything runs through him.
He's a good guy. He can handle it. So kind of talk about the event, what it was, and what it looked like, and then how it's impacted not only you, but the people you know, your clients and things.
Yes. Okay. So Jack and I own a home on Glen Meadow, 4900 block of Glen Meadow, in which our tenants, they were aware of the water coming in at 4 a.m. in the morning. By 6 a.m., the water had risen so much that there were firemen in canoes rescuing people. They were fortunate enough to go across the street into a 2-story home. Pets were put up high. I mean, it was really a disaster of epic proportions.
There were homes in the neighborhood that had water up to the countertops. So
Jeez.
We're talking about areas that were never impacted by any previous storms, that this time they had water. And it's not just Meyerland. There were different areas of southwest Houston that never had water, that flooded under this flood. So it's really unprecedented. And there are a lot of people hurting, and we certainly understand, because we are in the same boat as them, and it's no pun intended. But it's a terrible experience if you've ever had to deal with it, and we certainly hope that you don't. But there a lot of resources out there, and they're doing a really good job to assist people.
I mean, this is an occasion where you literally could be in the same boat.
It's a bad boat.
Firemen in a canoe sounds like a great name for a band, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was actually in the Galleria area the evening it rolled in, and was watching. I have a radar app on my phone, and it was just like purple over that area of town, and it continued to get hit. I had just a nightmare of a time getting out. I barely made it out. The firemen were already coming in, shutting down, certain intersections and all that sort of thing. I had to break multiple rules, I won't say laws, of driving, since it's an insurance guy in the room.
Well, you got to know what the rules are, so you know which ones you can break. Right?
Yes. But it was, just how much that this area of town got hit, it was just unbelievable.
I'm convinced that any area of town that has 10 inches of rain in 4 hours will go underwater.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty much right, because Houston's, it's flat. We're 50 foot above sea level, and it's flat all the way out there. So,
had great.
Anyhow, we were talking about the water that come in, and you had some surprises also when you went to start making a claim on that property. So kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, so I actually called the Red Cross this morning because we've had notices at this house about how they provide assistance, and they immediately, of course, said they are for owner-occupied properties. I'd also had another contractor tell me that there's a Texas Realtors Relief Fund up to $2,500 a month in any county the governor of the state has declared a disaster. Again, a primary residence. But, beyond even that, there were several zip codes affected. Along the whole Braeswood corridor, all the way even to Fondren. There was a restaurant called Saba's that had, I believe, 3
Send them
feet
an
of
invoice.
Yes.
3 feet of water.
Cha-ching!
So anyway, Robindale, Brace Timbers, these are all subdivisions, Westbury, of course, Meyerland, Willow Meadows, inside the loop. So there were many, Brace Heights was affected. There were many homes that were flooded. As a matter of fact, I've heard the figure 4,000. I'm not
I wouldn't be surprised, not at all. When I was, as I was watching it on the news and seeing the waters rising off of Braes and watching it fill the streets, I knew there was no way that those houses weren't getting it, because it was devastating. And where you live personally, you didn't get flooded though, right?
No, we're actually at the high end of Braes Bayou, where flood insurance is not required. But as it starts heading between Gessner to Fondren, the elevation changes, goes downwards as you head to the 610 loop, and of course then the water is rushing towards the bayou from all these other little tributaries along Braes Bayou, and the impact is really
devastating.
It's devastating.
So call
it's
Jack and Gene Shabot so you can get into the non-flood zone. They know exactly where to put you.
I'm thinking the car business is a great business to be in right now.
the car demo business. Anyway, and Jack, you were talking a little bit about, again, the deductibility and things like that, or insurance that really caused you some angst.
Well, everyone does not have flood insurance. There is a line on your income tax for casualty loss. And so if you do not have flood insurance, it would be wise to speak to an accountant, CPA, to find out if you have deductible casualty expenses so that you can recoup in some way.
Now, have any of your clients called you and talked to you about what they should do? Yeah, they can't see you shake your hip, by the way.
That was a nodded yes for the listener.
Well, yes, Jack and I have been called if we know how to go about contractors, et cetera, what to do. And of course, the very first thing you've really got to do is to start tearing out the sheetrock in your home and starting to air it out. We had, for this home on Glen Meadow, we had to buy 3 dehumidifiers, which are emptied twice a day. We have hardwoods. We're trying to make sure they are not destroyed. We had all the door frames, door jambs, floor moldings, doors. Everything has to be removed that touch the water.
You need to photograph and document the destruction, but by no means wait for somebody. You have to be proactive to try to save your house as much as possible. Furniture can be replaced, but opening walls, opening up floors where you have hardwoods, getting the drying process is very, very important. The documentation will certainly help you, but you should not wait.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't get better as time goes on. And of course, mold is often the byproduct of any kind of flood, and it gets into this insulation, and that sits there. And a lot of people will just go ahead and pull out half the insulation or maybe even all the insulation.
Well, you should take it up well above the flood damage, because the insulation will wick water upwards. So you always err on the side of safety. Sheetrock can be replaced, and nothing lives in bleach. So once it dries out, And we had attic fans that we had salvaged from other homes that we put in there with a lot of fans, air conditioning, open windows, dehumidifiers, anything that you can do to mitigate. It has to be done immediately.
Now, we're going to have you guys stick around because we've got a lot more to talk about on this subject, but we're coming up against a break.
Got to pay for the show.
Got to pay for the show. But we want folks to know how to get a hold of you guys. So if you would share your best way to be reached.
Okay. Jack's cell phone is 713-291-3286. Mine is 832-646-4900. Our office number in Bel Air is 713-668-8000.
And Jack and Dean Shabot with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Anderson Properties. So let's go to a break.
Yeah, why not?
In the morning, fever all through the night.